Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Chat with Kat, where I have real chats with real people about real life. And today I have the dynamic duo, Bianca and Samirah, on today. And we are just going to go with the flow. They're my sisters from other misters, they're from down under. You're going to get so much value from them today, and I'm so excited to share them with the world because their energy is electric. They're magnifying wherever they go and they bring a ton of energy. So, welcome to the podcast today, you two.
Yay, we're so excited to be here. Thanks for having
Thank
us
you for
on.
having us on. Of course, anytime. And I love to do this when we get started, is for people to obviously get to know you. So, share a few things, take the time, bounce off each other, whatever, however you want to do it. I've never done this with two people before, so this will be a new adventure for all of us. But yeah, share a little bit about your
Brilliant.
background and your story and let people in.
Absolutely. This is going to be interesting going because we introduce each other, we always like pop off like sharing about each other really like literally. So there we go. So for myself, my name is Samirah. So we're here on the Gold Coast, sunny, beautiful Gold Coast, and I am a multi-dimensional coach. So I love incorporating all of the multifaceted pieces that exist within all of us, using the mind, emotional body, energetic body, and physical body to create sustainable and long lasting change
Love it.
for people. I love animals. This is my beautiful partner. We love the beach. What's your story, my love? What's my story? Yeah. So, growing up, I really struggled with identity. So, I was born in New Zealand, spent my first 6 years there. We moved here. My family background, my mom is from the Philippines. My biological dad, I don't know, is from his background is Persian Egyptian.
Cool.
So, growing up, I really struggled with who do I identify with? I thought I had to choose. I
Mm,
didn't think I could identify with the Maori culture because it's not through my bloodline, and in my mind used to think I only lived there for 6 years before I knew about the imprinting stage and all of these things. And then I didn't look Filipino, so I'm like, everyone looks shocked if I go and speak to them, or I look like my dad's heritage, but I don't know them. And I didn't feel connected to Australia at all, if I'm being honest, growing up. And I also struggled with accepting my sexuality, which led me to the paths of addiction in early high school up until my early 20s, because I didn't recognize at the time of how deeply I was searching for connection.
yeah. A lot of people are going to relate to all of that.
And that's why I love at the moment the multifaceted aspect and not just working with one thing, because we are all so diverse and there's so many aspects that exist within each and every single one of us. And at the end of the day, all we're looking for is connection as well. So
Yes.
incorporating all of these beautiful pieces into a beautiful package, which is me, which is everyone. And that's what I love to bring forth.
Ugh, I love that.
Okay. I love this. I'm also your beautiful, multifaceted coach. I love to bridge the gap between psychotherapy and energetics. So this is where I stand in the world. And I also beautifully support people with their hair and creating an income online. So I love to have to hit all the facets like we beautifully speak into so people can really get that full circle spectrum life achievements and they can really hit all the spots. All my journey, I same here. And I think everyone will relate to this. I sort of hid under a facade. I only showed up as one version of myself. I thought I had to construct a perfection layer so that I could get accepted and seen as, someone who could fit in, someone who could be loved, someone who could be looked up to.
I found out at a really young age. I'm from Paris originally, and I found out from a really young age in Paris that the culture is so created to the way that people perfect confidence by, buying items or putting makeup on and putting that harsh wall facade on and pretending to be somebody. And I learned that, if I put a mask on, I'll be accepted. I'll be like the cool girls. And that's what I lived on for many years, going with that story of like, okay, I'll be the cool girl because I've got my perfect facade on. And obviously, coming into the world of energetic psychotherapy, I kind of got a shock in my head when I realized that I was not even in my body and I was just numbing myself. And that's where my journey really started. I sort of went from like events to events in my journey that really just pushed me to feel so I could really realize the pattern that was playing out and go deeper with myself. And this is where I bring in all the beautiful things now with my clients, really supporting them, owning all of them, not separating pieces so that they can pick and choose what might seem good and what might seem enough to be accepted in society, and really just realize the importance of being all of one so that you can actually access your superpower. That's a little bit about me.
I love all that. Thank you both for being so open and vulnerable and real and sharing the deepest parts of you. That's what I find really relates us all to each other. And when you both said multi-dimensional, multifaceted, I just got chills because it's so true. We're not just one thing. We're not just one way. There's so much more. We have so much depth, so many layers to who we are.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's so exhausting trying to like fit in this one box too.
Oh, yeah. That's why people are like burnt out, confused, exhausted, just doing
Definitely.
anything to keep up with everybody else.
Yes.
Yeah,
Completely
so
hiding from.
yeah, exactly. They are essentially. And there's enough distraction and enough consumerism out there that you can hide.
Definitely.
Mm.
It's like it's this world. I was chatting to Sammy about this and my clients. Like this world is so perfectly tailored to have us leave go, go, go. So it's no surprise that everyone doesn't realize that they're not being all of them. They're not even present with themselves. Like it's so tailored to like, go get the kids ready, go do this, go do that. Like, everyone in their journey has got different like aspects, but like a 9 till 5, you'll go, 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 you come home, you make your dinner, you go to sleep. Like it's just like you're never stopping. Like and then it's embedded in the culture on the weekend to like go and do that thing. Like it's just never ending. So of course people would be like, "This is my life. What do you mean?" Like they wouldn't even know because they don't even get a second to sit still and realize, like, oh, right, like who even am I?
Mm.
Exactly. And if someone were to ask you, what was the real shift for you when you realized like I'm more than just one thing? And how do you embrace all the parts of you and share that with other people?
Mm,
I think it's a step-by-step journey. And I think it's by allowing things to unfold in the most beautiful way. And I think it just starts by recognizing and actually just asking yourself the question, who am I? What is this life I'm living? And it actually starts by questioning your own life, looking around and being like, this isn't actually what I want, and beginning to question that. And one step is always going to open the next.
mm. Like who told you to be, a nurse? Who told you to be this? Like who taught you this? Who embedded this into your mindset? Like what life are you actually living? And is it actually yours? Are your thoughts yours? Like have you even like looked around and sat with the idea that this is something that's been constructed for you just, by living in the day by day? Or have you actually chosen the path that you're on and taken control of your life? Yeah, definitely.
I how it started for me though was I actually when I started my very first online business. So when the whole world shut down in 2020, I lost my job and I was sort of forced in some way, shape, or form to look for something more.
Right.
And when I started working online, I started to see. my mind expanded because I was starting to see more of what was possible outside of what was normal to what I was seeing on a day-to-day basis. I was seeing people earning 10K a month, only working 4 to 10 hours a week. So they were claiming in network marketing at the time. And that led me to see like there's actually so much more and there's so much more possibility than what I was currently seeing. And then again, it was like the next thing led to another. Then I did my NLP training, and that led me to fully question the conditioning, the belief systems that I had, how I was perceiving the world, and how the world is actually only a reflection of me. And it was journeying that over the last few years, and it just led me to the next and the next. It's always following the inner nudges that is there within us innately.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I feel like it's really like following the excitement. A lot of the time we so automatically want to be like, oh no, this isn't like, or my experience was like, it's not cool enough. Like this isn't me. Like I want to fit in. I want to do this. Like looking around, especially coming from France, like it's very different system, very different dynamic. Like Australians are very chill. They're very like the way they create sentences is not very direct in comparison to how France does it. So it's like you're like I just automatically was like adapting to this way of living. And then I'm like, this isn't me. Like, why am I feeling so distorted inside? Like, why can't I ever say what I want? And it's like coming out the way that I needed for people to understand me. Because there were so many repressed feelings of me wanting to just be direct and be myself that like when it did come out, it was spiky, you know? So it was like journeying that's this like aspect of like, why am I always going through like the ups and downs and why is it so spiky when things come out and why am I feeling so out of the norm when I do step into what I want. So just like following like the feelings of what truly lights me up and journeying that and allowing that to become me instead of repressing them and trying to fit in. And then again, it was a step by step journey.
Absolutely. And that is so relatable because we've all experienced that in life. Like you have to be, think, do, act a certain way to fit in. And then you get through 20 years of your life and you're like, who am I? What is going on? Like now you're out on your own in this huge world and you're like, I was told to be all these things, but now I'm out in this exploration bubble of like now where does that person fit into all this new experiences in life and so on and so forth. So it's really interesting that
Yeah,
you say that even moving to a different country and adapting to their culture, it can overshadow everything that you're there to like bring to the table.
definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely. I find myself like exploding out of that version of me that was like suppressing and becoming what people here were being. Um, when like just before I moved to Queensland, like maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, and I'd been like in Sydney for 10 years, and then it just exploded. I was like, that's it. I just left all my friends, left everything behind. I was like, this is not my life. What am I doing with myself? It was like this big like middle life crisis of like, oh my God. Like
Yeah, you literally came here for an event. Like she came to the Gold Coast from Sydney for an event over a weekend.
yeah,
And,
self-development event.
and she just didn't go back.
Yeah, stay here with my suitcase. It's like middle life crisis. I was like, what's this life I've been living? Oh my God, I live in a box. I'm being this person and I'm not. Like, where am I? Like, where's the essence of me? And I was just like, wow. Like,
And that is like a beautiful life example right there of like following the excitement. It's like if you know that something feels better for you, without the question, jump in, delve in, and how amazing has life unfolded for you since
exactly.
then.
Yeah, exactly. It was like following that intuitive nudge of like something is calling somewhere, like, and just following that and allowing that to guide you to the next step and the next step and the next step. So I often feel like people like on their journey, they need like they want all the steps, but it's really just about following that one step, that one nudge that calls you heart forward. That's going to unravel everything that you're actually looking for instead of me giving you a step by step of how you're going to get to this place because it's going to be different for everyone and
Yeah.
what makes sense to you isn't going to always make sense to me and it's just so powerful that
And
way.
it's like, how does it even make sense? She
Mm.
was here for the weekend and just like didn't go back. Obviously, she had to go back to drive and go get her stuff. But she was here. She was like, okay, this is it. Went, found work, found somewhere to live, and then
Yeah.
went to go get her and drove her car back up here with all of her things.
Yeah, I walked past like an organic salon. I got offered a job, and I was like, "Is this a sign?" It just felt amazing. The energy felt amazing. My heart was feeling like it was like over the world. Like I was like, okay, something's different here. Like something's calling me, and then it can just happen. Like just things just started aligning in front of me, and I was like, all right, just moving. So wild. But yeah, I think it's this beautiful seeding process that happens, and I love like one thread sort of happens, and another threads, and another thread, and then eventually like it drops in, and you get the click. So like the epiphany or whatever you're looking for, and everything will start to make sense. But it's definitely a journey of like exposure in your mind over unraveling what it is that needs to be understood. And obviously, that moment was my epiphany moment where everything just dropped in and just made sense.
Yeah. And what would you say to somebody that constantly pauses in hesitation on those moments of intuitive nudges?
Ooh, run, like run. It's so powerful.
Real life.
Run. It's so powerful what can happen in those moments when you do decide to act on that nudge. The faster and the quicker you act on the nudge, the more you're going to be yourself ultimately. The more you're going to embody that version of yourself, all pieces of you, and exactly get to the place that you want to be in life. And the more you wait, the more you create distance between you and your dream, the more you create distance between you and yourself, and the more you actually start doubting your abilities, the things that you want, and you kind of just shelter yourself back in. It's so powerful, like what can happen from saying yes to one thing that really excites you and saying no to one thing that really excites you. Like you can go from a moment of completely unraveling and transforming your life in a matter of months to being in the exact same spot for another year. It's that powerful what can happen in that moment.
It's like change can happen in an instant. And the first thing that said to me when you asked that question was like, there was this powerful saying that I heard, and I'll never forget it. It's like, fear feeds on stationary people.
Mm.
Fear
Oh,
feeds on stationary people. So what that means is if you're continuing to stay still, fear, doubt, and all of these things are just going to fully delve in. It's like, you know, when you have that first thought of like, oh, I want to do this. And
mm-hmm.
then literally within like 0.3 of a second, you've got all of those thoughts that's telling you, oh, but can you do that? Like your ego literally jumping in to protect you.
Imposter syndrome, like taking over.
And it's like, it's a similar thing. As soon as you have that drop in, it's like, go in and action it. It's okay to feel uncomfortable. It's okay to feel nervous. It's okay to feel like you may not be able to do it. Like it's all normal and part of the process. It doesn't mean anything about what you're capable of doing and what it's going to mean for you in the future.
Yes.
Definitely.
Love that. Yeah, say that fear part again. Fear feeds on stagnant,
Stationary people. Yeah.
stationary. Yeah. I was gonna say stagnant energy. Would have worked too.
Literally.
Goes it's so powerful because it literally allows place like it allows the imposter syndrome or the ego or whatever else that's like here to protect us from past experiences that is no longer valid in the current present moment to kind of jump in and think that it's going to do the right thing for us, and then we let it take place and take validation in our mind, and we allow that to take over our actions and our course of journey. And then that's when like the things really start to unravel in the way that we don't want to, and then we think, oh, okay, cool, like, oh, we weren't meant to be doing this, but actually we just allowed fear and doubt to take place instead of listening to our intuition, and we just shut that down.
Yeah. So
because
I'm
that ego.
just itching to also ask you too. What was your
Oh
big
yeah.
launch this week?
Yeah.
We're so excited. This has been in the works for like 2 years. We've been like facilitating, co-facilitating retreats, supporting, doing all the beautiful things. And I've been like to this darling, like, we are going to do this thing because people are gonna hear stuff. What do we do, my love?
So we are going to be running our very first in-person event here on the Gold Coast.
We're so excited.
So it's going to be absolutely amazing. It's going to be transformational. We're going to do teaching panels on all things to understand like how you operate the mind, the unconscious mind, ego, like we're going to explain all of the things. So then people know how to execute their next step, their next level. Mm-hmm. So it's so funny that we've been talking about what we've been talking about this morning so far, because it's like literally
it's the core of our work.
Yeah.
And we're going to tie in with energetics, which is the piece that we found that a lot of people out there were doing either one or the other. But our journey really unfolded and unraveled to the state that it's in now when we really merged into two and we allowed ourselves to really complete the wholeness of the journey of who we are. Because like if you only just work on one piece, it's going to stay a level of the mind, or if you only work on the body, you're never going to comprehend. So your human just automatically is going to want to make sense of things, but it can't if you don't merge the two. So it's just bringing the two into one and really just allowing people to fully transmute.
Love it. Energetics is a huge piece. Speak more on the energy behind things.
Mm.
So we are all alien energetic beings having a human experience. And I think part of the awakening is recognizing that we are more than this human vessel and that there is infinite possibilities because we are infinite.
Mhm.
That's a beautiful stage that we're in right now. So what that means is being energetic beings is that we all operate on a frequency. So if anyone's seen that photo of the vibrational scale, if you haven't, you can look it up, literally vibrational scale, and you'll see like this cone and it'll have all of the emotions and it'll let you know where you're at on a vibrational scale and what you feel on a day-to-day basis.
Mhm.
So wherever you sit on this emotional scale, you're going to attract. We only ever attract, because the world is our reflection, what we're a vibrational match for. So if you're consistently feeling, so you imagine you wake up on the wrong side of the bed, some people may say, and then you get out of bed and you're just like, oh, I really am not looking forward to today. You kick your toe and you're like, oh, of course, I'm gonna kick my toe. It's like a dragon. And you spill your coffee on the drive to work and you're sitting in traffic and it just unfolds in the not an ideal way possible.
Yep.
You imagine what can happen if you start to raise your vibration and your frequency, what could begin to happen if you were at a higher frequency. So, what begins to happen is you actually start to attract the things that you desire at a much faster rate, is what happens. When you have a higher frequency, things just drop in like that. You're more connected to yourself, therefore, you're more connected to the world around you. And you start to see the drop ins, you action it, more drop ins come, you action it, and things just happen so much more faster.
Because if you're in an emotional vibrational scale that's higher, a frequency that's higher, you wake up on the right side of the bed and then things just start to unfold. It happens so quickly. It's like the same thing as what we were talking about with the making that decision and not making that decision. It's the same thing. It's like because from that moment onwards, like if you make a decision that something is going to be bad, then it's just going to continue to affect and impact the rest of your day and the little moments like my God, people don't realize like the importance of micro moments in your day, not only like in how you feel and how you present yourself, the things that you attract, like as you how you're saying, it's so powerful. Just like how there's one moment when you choose the meaning you attach to it, how that can create the whole energetic match for your day and therefore your life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like there are so every single one of us like has a frequency that we vibrate on a day-to-day basis. And what makes up our frequency is your environment, your language, like how you're speaking, what you're speaking out there. Like you're quite literally casting spells as you're speaking. You're creating
Yes.
your reality with words, your emotions, so what you're feeling consistently on a day-to-day basis. And that's why the inner child work's important, shadow work's important, and really delving into the past and what is happening. Your thoughts, because your thoughts also create a chemical reaction in the body, which is the emotions. And see, are you starting to see how they're all intertwined? Like your environment can affect how you feel. So wouldn't it be more empowering to have more awareness on what your environment is rather than being a product of your environment?
Mm.
Yes. Yeah, I
And the
love.
energetics, they talk a lot into how like following your inner guidance system, which is your emotions, that's going to lead you to what is really happening in the moment, what you need to work on, what is the lesson. And that allows you to transmute whatever is being blocked, whatever is causing you to live the life that you are living in, so you can really get to the outcome that you're desiring.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's such an important thing too. And it's also a great tool to use for detaching the emotion from
Mm.
experiences or circumstances that don't feel ideal in the moment. Because if you can detach the emotion, then the awareness around it becomes like, okay, I'm just being redirected on my path, much like an airplane course corrects itself.
Definitely. Because it's all it is. It's literally a guidance tool. Like you're looking at it like, okay, cool. What's working? What's not working? What do I need to do? Like this is it. It's so powerful.
Exactly. So where is this event happening and how many people are allowed to join you?
Ooh. So we're calling in 20 to 50 beautiful humans.
Love it.
The space going to be in Mermaid. Um,
And it's on the 13th of
Mermaid?
October.
yeah, Mermaid.
Mermaid Waters or Mermaid Beach.
I want to go.
Yeah. How beautiful is the town names here?
Seriously, I just got like all the feels. I'm like, I want to go be a mermaid for the day. What?
Literally, honestly, it's stunning. Yeah, it's a beautiful space. We've been co-facilitating events there, like sporting events there. It's a beautiful space. So we can't wait to bring all the human beings in there. It's just going to be such a magical day.
I love it. And where can people get tickets from you for that?
Ooh.
So through our Instagram, we'll have a link in our bio. So it's a free event, but we also have a VIP option for only $44 where they'll be able to stay for a couple hours after and they'll be able to have a Q&A hot seat coach. They can literally ask us anything and have full access to us about all things relationship, business, mindset, energy work, emotional work, anything. You can pick our minds, pick our brains. We have food,
Mm.
coffee, all of the ways to my heart, food. And it's going to be absolutely incredible.
I was gonna
So,
say, who
bio,
isn't
Instagram,
already just sold on the food part?
right? Like, yeah, there's going to be food. You got me. She always knows. If I'm not keen to go on, she's like, there'll be food. I'm like, okay, let's go. I'm there.
It's like your love language, food. Honestly, so good.
Yeah, that counts as like gifts, receiving.
I am receiving the goodness of
Yeah,
my
the
soul.
nourishment, the joy. There's so, yeah.
Such an incredible.
I'm going to leave this part open for you guys to really discuss anything that's on the top of your mind. What is it that you want to share? What is something that popped up in our conversation that you're like, I need to bring this to the world right now?
I think if we were to sum up everything that we've spoken, because there's so much value in information that is to remember that you are almost like always at a crossroad. In every single moment, you are at a crossroad where you get to choose to stay the same or do something different. The power is in your hands. That was
Mm,
just the picture that came through. Like you can always just standing at a crossroad where you get to choose what path you are going to take and what your life is going to look like.
Definitely. And it's that thing with the choices, like if you make that one choice that's in congruence and alignment with you, you check in with your heart, like, is this for me? Cool. Act on that, follow your guidance system, act on that. And then the next opportunity comes, and the next thought comes, and the next crossroads. And every time you choose ideally and ultimately yourself in each of those moments, you becoming more and more and more aligned with the life that you actually desire.
yes.
And I think also another thing, a lot of people like to have it all mapped out in front of them, like to have a plan. They want to know what everything is going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
Just know that's procrastination, and that's never going to happen. You're never going to, and even if you spend all of that time figuring it out, having it all mapped out, you want to, because the universe doesn't give you what you want
Gives you what you need.
to prepare you. You're consistently being initiated to the next level to prepare you for the very thing that you're calling in every single time. So even though it might not make sense right now, even though it can feel like yuck, messy, ugh, know that it's always here for your highest good, preparing you for what it is that you're wanting right now.
Plus, like every time you make the entire plan, you're only making it from that level that you're currently at. But in the journey, you unlock new levels and then you make
Oh,
new plans on those levels.
Mm,
So that plan was never going to be following you anyways. You've
yep.
become a new person.
Yeah. And the way you see the world, perceive everything will completely change. Yeah. I love
Exactly.
that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Immediately I just popped into like Super Mario Brothers and like you go through the first level as a little dude and then you get the mushroom. You don't want to stay on the first level and only
Yes,
get the mushroom over and over and over again. You want to get the raccoon tail before
literally.
you
Exactly.
fire. You want to light it up.
Yes, it evolves. Ah. Yes.
So true. It's literally life. Life's a freaking video game. Like, what level do you want to
Yes.
play out? Do you want to unlock the next step, or do you want to keep repeating this one?
That's why there was so much power in what you just said, because you can build the whole plan, but there's different versions of you on the journey of that plan. So why
Exactly.
would you go on this whole plan of all these steps as the same person?
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow, that was really, really good. And if there was like a piece of like words of wisdom or inspiration you could leave for somebody, what would it be?
Take action, even when you're not ready, especially when you're not ready.
Mm.
Trust.
Like everyone knows what they need to do within them. They just pretend that they don't.
Mm. And they've
Mm,
been taught to not look inwards because of that go-go mindset that we talked into. And like it's so embedded in the system to not want to go inward to actually find answers for ourselves. We look for external things and then we're like, oh, okay, cool, that's what I'm supposed to do. If you
We
just gave yourself the chance to sit in stillness like 5 minutes a day, I can guarantee you you'll find exactly what you're supposed to do, your exact next steps, and you'll find more of yourself than you've ever found through anything else you've done in your life.
yeah,
because
that's so
it's
true.
so powerful.
Mm.
Yeah. I always find when people say, I don't know, I will call them on it, whether they like it or not.
Mm.
Because I don't know is you avoiding feeling what you want to feel.
Definitely.
Oh my gosh, I was the queen in the past of I don't know. Everything she asked me, I don't know.
I'm like, you do know.
And it's like, and it was, and when I recognized it, I realized, oh my gosh, this is like a coping mechanism, like a protective mechanism happening right now of
Yeah.
literally protecting myself of like not wanting to feel wrong, not wanting to feel rejected, not wanting to feel like XYZ.
Mm-hmm.
Even that small thing, recognizing that,
It was so powerful because you like stepped out of the numbing. Like you're just unconsciously numbing your life. You're like, I'm not looking at what I don't appreciate about my life. I'm not looking that I'm just living this life that's not me. I'm not looking. I don't know. I'm
yeah,
not making decisions, blah, blah, blah.
it's like pretending,
Yeah.
justifying when it wasn't going the way that I
Mm.
liked it or whatever, you know, like,
But then how much energy is being wasted in pretending when you can just sit with yourself and actually live? Like that's the core of this.
Yeah. It's just avoiding finding the answer you already have.
Mm.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If the answer gets you to more of yourself, and a lot of people get scared about that. They're like, oh, that means then I have to take action.
It's true.
And
Because you do.
another thing that's like dropping in that's been a theme around everything that we're talking about right now is like that going against the grain. It can be scary to do something different to what everyone else is doing because of the innate system of how our brains operate, that reptilian brain that we have like from 2 million years ago that doesn't want to like step out of the herd because if they stepped out of the herd like from the cavemen, you know, they're going to be eaten alive or mauled by Tusker, you know what I mean? Like just because we've evolved and we're not living in those ways anymore, that still innate system of how our brain operates is still there. So just recognizing that and knowing that. So when you go to step out of your comfort zone, which is outside of what you know, outside of the herd, all of these things, it's going to ring unsafety. Your body is going to like want to go into survival. And it's by recognizing that, by being in the present, so then you can, you know, calm yourself down and know like, actually, it's okay. This is a normal thing to feel and I can keep going.
Mm.
Yes.
And if you are listening to this, it is likely that you are also here to create ripples. You're a leader, you're a change maker. You have to be okay with going against the grain and stepping out and being yourself and being different. That is the key here. You being yourself and stepping outside of the grain and doing you is what's going to be the permission piece and how you're going to create massive ripples. So you have to learn to be okay with that.
Wow.
Get to be okay.
Yeah. And you
Mm.
get to show other people by being the example. Because how is somebody else that is in your circle going to know it's safe for them unless they know somebody else did it and was safe?
Mm. Permission slips. This is why I like the power of like surrounding yourself with people who are the next level or who are where you want to be, like hiring a coach, going to self-development events, like doing the freaking things. This is why I left my home in Sydney and like put myself in spaces that allow me to dream bigger and see differently. Because then I could see differently. Like this is exactly the transmission that happened when I came to the Gold Coast. Like the energy was different, the people were different. There was like all these pockets of time that were open in front of me that I got to step into. And if people just allow themselves to just go and surround themselves with those opportunities around them, they would only see opportunities on a day-to-day basis and continue to evolve.
Honestly. Have you seen Ice Age?
Oh my God.
Yes.
You know, Sid, and there's like this one scene, it just popped in my head. He's like, "You're out of the herd." I think he says that to the saber-tooth tiger when he was like, imagine if that was your goal every single day to have like someone think that of you. You're out of the herd. Like if you have that in your head of someone thinking that about you, you'd be like, yes, yes, I am. And then keep going. You're out of, yes, I am. Imagine how much your life would transform. Like actually.
That's
I know it
hilarious.
might not make sense to like everyone because like on the like it's like that fear brainwave, like on the fear brainwave, it's exactly the same as excitement. So if you just allow yourself to step into the fear, you then get to step into excitement. But you have to start with fear first. It doesn't just come like excitement, you know, you have to do the step. And that allows you to come down to the other side that gives you exactly what you want. But in order to get that, you have to take the first step.
It's
Because
true.
isn't it so perfect that there's a system that's conditioned people to not feel, yet how you first access your power is by feeling. The process of transmutation of pain and the depths that you're willing to go to the shadows of your hurt is the equivalent of how much you're able to experience the higher emotions, the things that you're very much desiring at that level. Like the more you're willing to descend, it's like the descend, ascend, like process. So just
Yeah.
wanted to food for thought. How interesting.
Yeah.
How interesting.
Well, a lot of people just look up to celebrities or sports players or athletes, things like that. They didn't become, well, that's a different topic, but in, in, in a nutshell, people don't become good at soccer by sitting on the couch and going and practicing for 1 hour a week. And it's the same with the inner work.
Yeah.
Like you don't, it's not when I feel like it, I'll do the inner work. When I feel like it, I'll jump out of the fear. It's an everyday thing.
Definitely. It's so powerful that it's words. I think when I first started my self-development journey, I was like, cool, then I'll be happy. But you'll also be sad, fearful, angry,
Yeah.
like all the other emotions because it's a continuous motion. And I was like, oh my God, what do you mean? I'm never gonna be happy? But it's
No,
literally just recognizing that like, it's just an up and down journey. And then the more you step into that fear, the anger, the guilt, whatever it is that's on the side that you may perceive to be negative, is the more you allow yourself to step onto the other side where the love, pleasure, and fun actually just runs your life. And each level, like we've spoken to before, you deepen into this side again, so you can deepen into the other side again. And it's a continuous freaking cycle. And why wouldn't you want to keep going? Like once you experience it once from the other side, you're like, let's go again. I want more of this. So I'm gonna go through this like arms open.
yeah. And the more you bridge the gap between the feeling, so like if people are on this like fear train and then they're letting it go down, 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 like you're on the depths of the roller coaster at that point, and then you got to really push to step into the fear again to go up. Whereas like if you just step into it a little bit every day,
Definitely. Then it's just a smooth freaking ride.
Yeah.
Some ups
yeah,
and downs, but freaking like so powerful.
yeah, absolutely. Well, is there anything else that you two would like to add as we wrap things up today?
I feel so complete. I
So
loved
complete.
this chat. That was epic.
I loved it too. Awesome. Well, We will have everything in the show notes for you to go and follow these wonderful souls on their journey and register for their workshop if you're not in another country or you want to travel there and go to the workshop. By all means, feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah, do it. You'll know if this is for you. If you feel the call, book those flights.
Do it.
If you want to bring your mermaid tail and you want to get wet, you're going, you know?
Literally coming.
Join the journey. But we'll make sure that everyone can connect with you and I'll grab all that information from you. And thank you so much for taking your time out of your wonderful day and spending it getting to know people from around the world.
Thank you so much. Welcome. Thank you.